Okay.
Welcome to Btec Philosophers with me, Michael Odewale, and my friend Elliot Steele, where we use our expertise to philosophize. I'm not sure if that's a word. I'm not a dictionary. Our issues of the week and the big topic of the week.
That's it, man. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. That's a good summary.
That's a good summary. The two guys you'd find in like bottom set maths now have a podcast.
Also, before we begin, I want to apologize to anybody who has done a BTEC because it is a respectable method of qualification.
It isn't, bro. It's that one they come in class and go, you know, this is equivalent to 5 GCSEs. And you go, why isn't it 5 GCSEs? And they go, because it's performing arts, dickhead.
Yeah.
Like, it's not
one BTEC, 5 GCSEs. That's just good maths. Ironically, they are not good at maths, people who do BTECs. But, you know, it's respectable. I didn't do one.
Did you not do one?
No, I didn't. I'm Nigerian. I wouldn't have been allowed to have.
What, is that not allowed in a Nigerian household?
No, I mean, like, it's, you know, Champions League, Europa League. Like, and there's nothing wrong with the Europa League.
Right.
But you'd prefer to be in the Champions League.
Okay, that explains, because I went to a school with like, there was a lot of African kids, a lot of Jamaican kids, but there was not a lot of them in my class, which explains.
Right, because you're part of the failing.
I wasn't foundation paper.
Class.
Yeah, we're being left behind.
Yeah.
This is it.
You're this close to having Louis Theroux do a documentary on you.
No, man, I did. Do you remember foundation papers? I never did foundation. That was always that was worse than BTEC, because when they were like with foundation, where you were like the highest you can get is a C. Yeah, and you go, well, you kind of want to do that paper because you're like, that sounds way easier. Yeah,
I actually I have a D in maths. For all the banter I'm doing, I left school with a D in maths.
How many GCSEs did you get?
What counts as what actually counts as a GCSE?
As in like A to C. Don't go like, yeah, I got D.
Because if you took the paper, for me, you'd have a GCSE.
No, that's not how GCSEs work.
That's how I put them down on my CV.
Right. So what did you do in college?
I did history and politics.
Oh, okay, so you got a few GCSEs then.
I got a couple. I got a couple. But I had to like kind of wangle, because like I said, I got the D in maths. And my mom sent me to work in a butcher shop for 2 weeks because
punishment?
As punishment, I had to work in a butcher shop to see what my future would be.
What? That's not a bad living, I think. Like,
I don't know why she went straight to butcher shop, as in like that was the only thing left.
If it was like make you be a cleaner, or you know, you get like one of those guys at the train station who has to sweep up crisps for 2 weeks, I'd be like, yeah, that's fair enough. If it's like, oh, here, son, you got to learn how to use like heavy machinery and cut pigs up.
I did bring a lot of free meat home, and I think that was probably the priority for my mum.
So your mum's just like using you as some sort of communist.
Yeah, she knew someone at the butcher shop, and just like I got in.
Right, that's not right. The point of this podcast is that we bring moral dilemmas before we just go through our terrible education.
My mum's discipline methods. They kind of really slip. I would have preferred the belt.
Did you used to get the belt?
Yeah, did you?
I got smacked a couple of times, but my family's like sort of lower middle class white, so there was always an apology.
White smacking is more sinister because it's built up over time.
There's a passion involved in it.
Yeah.
I feel like a black beat is like an act of passion. Well, white beatings is like, white people won't beat their kids, but they will burn down the house and kill everyone when it gets too much.
It's like there's no constant release. It's just one snap and then everything.
And they kill them. They just bring the kids up to the bath one at a time. And that's why
the CPS get involved in every white beating, because it's not regulated like black beatings are. It's not, which is a moral dilemma for another week, I think.
What do you think's better, like black beatings or white beatings? And we could bring that up one week. People can write in with their experiences.
Yeah. We can bring in case studies,
and that'll be the last ever episode of this very short-lived podcast.
That's what gets cancelled.
My moral dilemma of the week is, and I didn't tell you this before it started, because I think this is an issue that affects a lot of young men. But I was seeing this girl, it was going all right, and I sent her a couple of weeks back. I sent her a message.
Okay,
and there was no reply on the day of the message, and I remembered she was going away for something.
Okay.
So I wasn't like being like, oh, I'll message her again. I was like, oh, I'll just be nice and be like, hey, enjoy your time, like wherever you're going. And then she immediately replied, bear in mind, I just messaged her the day before with, oh, hey, sorry, I was busy.
Okay. What was in the message?
Well, well, being busy doesn't mean like she was just out shopping.
Listen, women are independent now. They have jobs and hobbies.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not saying. But you know what busy like?
Someone's never listened to a Destiny's Child song because they do stuff.
I know they do stuff.
For 2 weeks, they can be...
But this wasn't like a 2 week... I'm not saying it wasn't 2 weeks apart in the message.
Okay.
It was like 24 hours.
Okay.
Which it insinuates she was busy with somebody. Do you know what I mean?
No,
have you ever had this issue?
Why would it insinuate...
Oh, Michael, you've got so much to learn, man.
Why would it insinuate issues with someone else?
Because it's like, that's just kind of what busy means. It's not like, oh, hey, sorry, I was up to, you know, like, it's not like, oh, hey, sorry, I was out with my mates or I was out with my family. It's just like, have you ever seen that Twitter thread, yeah?
Okay.
Where girls, like, they send in, like, what they've done.
Right.
Right. So they'd be like, I've had a boyfriend. And he'd be like, hey, can I come round tonight? And she'd be like, oh, the next day I had to reply like, oh my God, sorry, I fell asleep at 7 p.m. But really they were with someone else.
You telling me they're not sleeping?
But I thought you knew that.
I didn't know that. I thought they were sleeping.
No, bro. They're like, I was there. I started a career on FIFA with Spurs.
Yeah.
Just thought, and I'm there arguing with Lo Celso over contracts, and meanwhile she's getting her back blown.
That's what you think?
That's what it means, in my opinion.
So what happened next?
It's like, well, nothing. I didn't reply. I'm not a psycho. I didn't reply. Busy doing what? Like, I'm not a maniac.
Wait, how long were you going out with this girl for?
Well, I wouldn't say we were going out. It was just like I'll tell you what the other one was, right?
Okay.
It's because what gives me to believe this on this, right? Is we were out one time and we were talking about sitcoms.
Okay.
She's like, oh, I'm a fan of The Office. And I go like, oh, I really like Peep Show. She goes, I know, you came and put it on back at mine one time. And I was like, no, I didn't. And she goes, yeah, you did. But she then starts going like, no. She's like trying to double down, like almost gaslighting me into thinking that I went back there and watched Peep Show, and I was
my
like,
dignity, I would have been like, yeah, we watched that. Yeah. I don't know one single thing about Peep Show. I don't know any of the characters. I just went to double down like, oh yeah, Dave, man, I love Dave, and that it was up to his antics.
What do you make of that? Do you think how do I get over that L? Like, what do I use? You know about
I
stuff.
Well, are you insinuating I know about taking L's?
I think you're better at I think you're a man who's taken many. I'm starting to believe you just take the L's because you don't know they're L's.
If is an L an L, if the L tree didn't, if you weren't there when the tree of L's fell down.
That started really well.
Yeah.
And then got incredibly stupid as it went on. That
like
started
the podcast.
Yeah.
Kind of like, yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of what Btec Philosophy is meant to be that.
Well, then, why don't...
I'm sorry, man. I shouldn't have said that. I should have let you work that out.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, it was very mean. I forgive you, though. And you should forgive this lady.
I don't hold any resentment.
Well, so you should be up front. But like, I think you were busy fornicating with another man or woman. I don't know,
Yeah.
And, I want you to be honest with me.
I think that's absolutely mental.
Also, can
you just tell me what you were up to between these hours and these hours? Like,
let's role play the conversation.
Okay, all right.
Do you want to be the woman or?
Yeah, go on.
I think it makes more sense if I'm the woman.
Yeah, let me be me in this situation.
Okay, give me some information about it. Let me build this character. I'm a method actor.
Okay, she's like in her early 20s.
Early 20s. Caucasian?
Yeah,
she's Caucasian. Why you say like
Well, I don't know why you said Caucasian.
I'm building the character.
Okay, all right.
What region of Caucasus?
Well, white English. Yeah.
White English.
You could say white.
Nordic.
I'd say more Anglo-Saxon.
Anglo-Saxon. Did they invade each other at one point?
I think I think at one point, I know Denmark invaded at one point and all of that, but I think the Anglo-Saxons actually beat off an invasion from Denmark, but then lost to the Normans. I don't know.
This is helping to build. This is all helping.
When you meet her, this is the first thing you think.
She's pure white.
Yeah,
100% proud of it.
Well, not like in an EDL way, not like in that I'll go back there and there's
no. This is what you say. Anglo-Saxon, 100%.
it's not like a picture of the Queen on the wall, and she doesn't start like going to me, "Oh, this country's gone to the dogs."
She could have been at a rally. She's busy at a rally.
I don't know. She's got too many teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, you kind of have the face where I feel like people would be welcoming in telling you their ideologies.
Yeah, I do have that a little bit sometimes.
And the voice.
If I'm at the pub, yeah, it doesn't help. I think my voice is off-putting a little bit. It's a little bit too South London.
Yeah.
It's more that sort of, you know, as you get out into like bits of Bromley, Kent way, that's when it starts getting a little bit, you know what I mean, mate?
Yeah.
Like, as they start talking about that.
Okay, I've got this character. Let's have this conversation.
All right, cool. So hey, the other day when I messaged you, it just took a when you said you were busy. What were you busy doing?
I was down the pub, mate, with Gaza.
Okay, right. Another thing.
Why are you asking these questions, mate?
Why have you suddenly come Geordie? Never mind what you were doing. What's happened in the time since I've last seen you, where you turned into a South London man, and then immediately gone Geordie? Let's stay on it.
Fine tuning the character.
Okay, yeah. So
I was getting me back blown out, mate. Is that what you want to know? Is that what you wanted to know, mate?
Yeah, that's.
Does that make you happy?
It doesn't make me happy. No, but it makes me a bit like wonder how good this guy was, like how good his dick was, that he's now made you speak like a Geordie.
We never had to talk. You're scared of commitment, Elliot.
This feels like a lot to be bringing up after only.
You don't own me. I'm an independent woman, like Beyonce said.
Right, and so you're now from Birmingham.
If I gone over to Birmingham, I'm fine tuning it.
So,
because for me, I think I started in the Caucasus of Essex.
Right. Okay.
And then I kind of gone downwind, upwind. I don't know which way.
Well, you'd have gone up, sort of.
I've gone
towards Newcastle. North, and then you went all the way down to Birmingham.
I think that felt truthful though to me.
Could you imagine if we'd done that bit the other way round and I just started doing Nigerian accents?
I can imagine it. My career would be fine.
Yeah. But what do you make of this? Like, have you ever had this where you like message a girl and be like, and then just like a few days later, it's like, hey, I was busy, sorry. And it's just left you, like, have you ever just been left on red or something and just been sat there like a dickhead being like, how do I get over this? How do I approach this without looking like like a sap? Mm-hmm. And also do I just take that feeling of loss and sit, not loss, but like, yeah, I guess like it's a loss. Like, do I just sit in it knowing that?
I mean, the L is, it's a perception, isn't it? I mean, because there's a universe where she is actually being truthful. She was just busy.
Yeah.
Maybe her cat died.
Possibly.
Mother died.
Well, okay. Well, that would be. I mean, if her mum died and then she messaged me within 24 hours,
it's actually very good.
That's actually. In fact, that's a little bit too keen.
That's a keeper.
Yeah.
Right there. But you know, I think it's all about, like I said, it's all about perception, because it might not be an L. First of all, she might be busy, and also you yourself, you know, you're a busy man. You got stuff to be doing. You got gigs. You got fighting. You know, it's not as if you were just sitting at home by the phone.
No, I was sat there by FIFA.
Yeah. But the phone...
falling out with my players because I was cunting them off because I lost to Southampton.
Were you making bad decisions on FIFA because of the girl was in the back of your mind?
No, I think I was making bad decisions on FIFA because I refused to accept legendary difficulties a bit too hard for me. But then maybe...
It might be the FIFA leading this angst rather than the woman.
I'd imagine it was. Imagine that was really if like I went to therapy and like all my problems just turned out that I wasn't happy with my career mode. They were
you
like,
just had to go one level down.
Yeah, they're like you self-sabotage. I've never met someone like this, but you're self-sabotaging because you're not doing well on FIFA.
Or maybe
it's not to do with your parents, nothing to do with childhood.
Could just be a Pro Evolution, man.
No, that's finished.
Yeah, that's done now. But listen, are you yourself, would you say that you are the most faithful of men?
This is a bit heavy for podcast number one, isn't it?
I mean, in terms of...
We haven't even got a Patreon yet. Maybe if there's a Patreon episode at some point, we could do that. Jesus Christ.
I don't mean to put your business out there, but in terms of, let me rephrase it. Are you the quickest of replier to women? You get that message and you're like, oh, I need to reply to how are you today straight away. She needs to know how I am right now.
Okay, this is my thing with replying to, like, I'll reply in group chats. I'm like this with everyone. Mm-hmm. I don't really strike up conversation outside of those things too much as it is, because I feel like there's too much. There's so many people sometimes messaging you that it gives you a job.
Had that. Never.
No, you've never been like into like 6 conversations at once.
No,
like,
no.
Oh, now I've got to keep up with all these people. Do you remember like old school MSN days?
Okay, yeah.
There was a point to logging off that.
Yeah.
You log off and it's done. It's over.
My shift is over.
Yeah, it's your sister's turn now. Mm-hmm. Get off the computer. And that was actually a favour our parents were doing us, if you remember. With like, do you remember that? Like, you used to have the family computer.
Yeah.
And you'd have a allotted amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Your mum could have just took that off you instead of like making you work in a butcher's or something, come to think of it.
No, the butcher's just shaped my life. Yeah.
I'm who I am because of that.
Yeah.
But then you've got, so I find that like replying to people, I actually find it quite like, oh, you've given me a job. Like,
I mean, because we have a group chat and you reply pretty promptly.
I love replying in that group chat.
Right.
Because it's fun. There's more conversation. There's a lot of things going on. But
so this girl, she's not, you've not replied to girls because it feels like work.
No, it just feels like I'm just in a conversation. It feels like we're just doing small talk.
Right.
Like it's just like a conversation, like, you know, when you bump into someone in the shop.
But you needed that small talk this time around, didn't you?
I guess I was just, I don't think I needed small talk. I think it was just to being like, oh, okay, yeah, see you when I see it. But like, it was just like, it's the, I don't know, maybe I've consumed too much media on this subject or something, but just the I'm busy is always like, oh, that's a...
And do you feel like she was quite keen before? Was she a quick reply before?
Yeah, that's also giving it away a little bit. There was a little bit like, oh, hey, how's it going? Whereas this one is...
Elliot, I think you might have given this girl what they call on Twitter, the ick. You might have diagnosed her with the ick.
Oh, that's so possible, you know.
What do you think you've done that's ick-worthy?
Do you know what? Yeah, the ick is one of those things that can fuck off.
You know,
it should be reserved for like, I went round a guy's and he never there was just like cans of crisps on the floor and stuff. That's it. But now it's like, oh, he ties his shoelaces weird.
Yeah, or he eats too many biscuits. That's an ick.
Have you got that?
Been told I've eaten too many biscuits.
Yeah,
I eat a lot of biscuits. I don't know if I'm eating them in an unappealing way, or he carries an umbrella. I feel that's an ick.
What? How do you eat biscuits that like?
I'm a nibbler. You know what I mean? I like to savor the biscuit I'm eating.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know if that's manly. I think men.
No, I don't think. I mean,
just down it.
Men just eat their biscuit like 2 bites.
Just 2 bites and done.
2 bites. It's not how I would eat a biscuit privately, but in front of a girl, I'd eat a biscuit.
I mean, if I'm eating like a chocolate bonbon or custard cream, I peel apart the 2 biscuit sides, and then I lick off the filling, and then I slowly consume the biscuit.
So you're trying for this to be in like some sort of sexual manner?
I'm not making eye contact. It's just how I ate my biscuits, and then subconsciously maybe she's thinking, oh, that's how he eats a biscuit. Famously, if that's how he eats a biscuit, what else can he eat? Yeah,
I can see why.
Biscuits.
But how many of the bonbons are you eating for it to become? Like if I was with someone and they went through a whole packet of biscuits and I'd only just started hanging out with them, I'd be like
bringing biscuits to the first date. I don't think you should do that.
No, that's well, unless it's like a nice picnic somewhere or something.
Yeah, something like that.
All right, what do you reckon it is then? I've given this girl the ick.
What would you say your worst ick is?
I've always said I'm fun for 2.5 dates and then you start to see.
That's not ick. That's personality.
Okay, fair enough.
That's a personality flaw.
Right, yeah.
The ick is very particular.
Okay.
Like for me, when I'm on the train, sometimes I have to hold on to the railings.
I hold on to the railings.
Or like sometimes I don't know which way the doors are gonna open, and I feel like that's specific enough for women to be like,
you're not.
He can't raise a family.
Yeah,
he can't raise a family.
What's he gonna be like in a conflict situation? I'm there with the kids. There's a fire, and he's making us turn out the wrong door of the house.
I don't know which doors. Yeah, so that's my ick. But I think that's just something that's reached its natural conclusion. Did you see this woman as wifey? For lifey?
Oh, I don't know, man. This is a bit.
But then why is it eating away?
It doesn't eat away. I just thought this would be an interesting conversation on the podcast, and you've now just brought up that like You've gone. You're not the most faithful of people. and then you've gone.
You discuss women.
And then and also there's a whole magnitude of reasons. No. She wasn't cheating on you. She wasn't like seeing somebody else behind your back. She just hated who you were
as a person, and she was nice enough to say that she was busy. You could have got ghosted.
Yeah. Have you ever been ghosted? I know you've been ghosted.
What do you mean? Why would you?
I've probably ghosted you.
Yeah, you've ghosted me a few. I've been left hanging.
Right.
I've been left hanging a few times. But then that more than tends to be the same as this situation. I think rather than it being an attack on what you thought you had with that person, it's an attack on your masculinity, your sense of self.
That's what I'm bringing up here. Is like you take it as a. I think the cool thing with being a comedian is like you deal with it in a way of like I always go in life, right, when something like this happens, your options are to be upset, to be annoyed, or to find it funny. And being upset and being annoyed, that's just only going to hurt you.
Yeah.
So if you go and find it funny and go get roasted about it, it then becomes trivial. And it's harder. It's easy to do with this if it's like, oh, I've got 3 weeks to live.
Yeah.
That's a little bit different. But I'd still rather be around a group of comics who are going to roast me for having 3 weeks to live.
Yeah.
Than like, I'd feel more comfortable with that than being around people who are like being sincere.
What would the angle of roasting be for somebody who has 3 weeks to live?
Well, it'd be with
you just let them know all the things they're gonna miss. The Tar World Cup, you're missing it, mate.
I'll be finding out things the day after they're about to die that I was gonna go to. All right, bruv, look, the new Batman film, innit?
Oh, March 4th. It's a tight one.
Yeah, you'll probably be 2 weeks getting to the cinema by then. Anyway. What's been in you? What's your little moral thing of the week?
My one isn't so much personal as it's more of a wider altruism type issue. Altruism, I guess, is the act of giving, right? Giving for the right or wrong reasons.
No, altruism is like you do a good thing but don't want anyone to know about it.
Is that what altruism is?
Altruism's that.
Okay.
That's what altruism is, isn't it?
We need a dictionary. We're going to dictionary corner.
This is the first bit of philosophy we've come to on the podcast.
This is the first time we used of actual meaning. Because my issue came. I was watching one of those YouTube videos, right, and it was one of them YouTubers, and they were giving money to homeless people, right, and they were filming themselves giving money to homeless people, and the comments are very much like, you're a bad guy for this. Why you need to film this action? This is very gross. And I'm kind of thinking to myself, it is kind of gross to do that, filming yourself, giving money to helpless, vulnerable people for your own profit. But at the same time, is a homeless person still not getting fed? Is there an argument to be made, even though you've done a good thing for a bad reason, a good thing still has been done?
Yeah, it's gross, isn't it? Like the idea that you see a homeless person and the first thing you see is opportunity.
How can I benefit?
Yeah, that's kind of gross. But at the same time, maybe a homeless person's looking at everyone going, right, hopefully one of these people's going to give me money. That guy has now got a sandwich and a YouTube credit, which is on a popular channel. That's on a popular channel. That's 2 more things than he had. Than the people who were walking past him are ignoring him, but then they'll be in the comments being like, you've done a bad thing. Yeah, I guess it's better than doing a bad thing to a homeless person for YouTube views, but that shouldn't be the bar in life. Maybe it is in 2022. Maybe that's the bar. The bar is ignoring them completely, pretend they don't exist, doing a bad thing. Yeah. Giving them money for your own personal gain, but you're still giving them something. Do you give money to homeless people? If I'm carrying coins, I will. You said that like you're trying to hide that you throw it. If I'm in possession of coinage, if I'm carrying coins and I'm at like a great height, and then I can, it's. Do you know what I find and this is a London thing, and also Manchester. Manchester's mad for it. Whenever I go to Manchester, the homeless have suddenly got kind of aggressive. Oh, really? I was in Brixton the other day. Tired of being homeless. Yeah. Well, I'm more the state. Like, if you've got all these £1 million properties that are empty and all of that, you can build enough homes for people. And also the reason people is homeless isn't, it's like it's to do with a lot of it mental health and
Yeah.
things like that. And you know that's the reason it is. It's not people just one day go, yeah, I'm sick of the indoors.
Yeah, I mean that is probably a small percentage, but it's a small one.
I'd like if I was homeless, I'd like to be one of those ones that go live in the woods,
Yeah,
catch fish.
that's like always like a nomad, isn't it? Just like a
Just sort of like I'm away from society.
just off the grid.
Yeah,
You won't even know if you've been ghosted. You just
is it,
like
man.
Schrodinger's ghosting. You might have been, might not have been.
That may be why people end up homeless. They're just like I was
Just one bad ghosting away.
I was just I got left on red and I just packed my things up.
If I was homeless, I'd have one designer piece just to make myself feel better.
Nobody would give you money. You can't sit there in a Gucci tracksuit.
Just I said one Balenciaga t-shirt. You can't read that.
Have a Balenciaga t-shirt and be homeless.
Why can't I feel nice about myself? You're part of the problem.
I know. I'm not, I don't like the idea of the deserving or the undeserving poor. But if I saw a homeless person in a Balenciaga t-shirt, I'd be like, right. Well, first of all, put that on eBay.
Right.
There's something you could do.
You can buy a whole outfit with that. Because there was that video of a guy giving Yeezys to homeless people.
Which is, again, like, he's doing that to get views. But that's also probably a shitty thing to do because if I see a homeless person in Yeezys, I'll probably...
You want to steal the Yeezys? No. Oh, I was going for it. We were off. We were off. I thought we were about to just say the same sentence. We were off. But you finish.
They're not going to be able to chase me. They got nothing to run in.
No, shoot. Yeah, I thought we were on the same page. We were off, man. My bad.
No, I'd look at them and be like, you can't. You're not. You're probably. I'd assume more that you've drunk and passed out, and you've been like, you're locked out the house.
Right.
You're not homeless.
Also, homeless attire is kind of high fashion now. A lot. It's very much holes in the clothes, very very grey.
So homeless people should start wearing like suits,
Right.
things like that, to identify
That they're still homeless.
that they're still homeless.
Because you see it in Shoreditch and you're like, homeless or just sitting down.
No, you see, this is the thing I always think. I think you can, you know what the thing is with homeless sometimes is, you got like homeless, like, I had an abusive dad, I moved out, I had to get out, I'm on the street, I'm looking for a hostel. And then you've got like mental health, like homeless, like screaming at you in the street, where the first one's a little bit like, I'm really sad. The second one's like, where's the bus? Where's the bus? They're getting on the bus. Oh no, go top deck. Like,
They'll always go top deck too.
Have you ever had that? I was saying, I was in Brixton the other week, and this guy just came up. This was his opening gambit to me, as he went, "Fuck Manchester United." I went, "What?" And he went, "Yeah, fuck Manchester United." I went,
Can I have some money, please?
Yeah. I went, "Yeah, fuck Man United." And he went, "Yeah, bruv, you got any money?" I was like, this.
What he's done is he's building rapport.
But what if I was a Man United fan?
Then it's a risky strategy of building rapport.
Which, by the way, I think he thought I was, because he was saying it to me like I was Sir Alex. Like he thought I was Sir Alex or something.
like you were Scott McTominay.
Yeah, I'm Harry Maguire getting a 196 in Brixton for some reason, and he's just there going like, "Yeah, I'm nothing to do with the club."
Yeah.
And then
Did you give him some money?
No, I think.
Of
Well,
course.
this is the other thing. We're moving towards a cashless society, so I was there like, well, I don't actually have any coins on me.
This is true.
And I just always with that stuff, I'm like, hey, sorry, man, I'm just trying to go about my day.
Okay, but then let's take this topic in a wider sense. Do you do good things for a bad reason? But could you say you still would be able to justify it?
Whoa.
Whilst you think about that, I've got the definition of altruism.
Oh, let's go for it.
Oh, yeah, we did really go down it.
Altruism is the principle and moral practice of concern for happiness of other human beings or animals, resulting in a better life quality.
I think that's what I said.
That's not at all.
What did I say?
It says here as well, selfless concern for the well-being of others, but it also says disinterested and selfless concern, and I feel like they're two different things.
I think that bottom part isn't that they have like the inverse of the word. Is that
No.
that's part of the word?
There's two different definitions. Yeah.
What's the opposite of altruism?
Give me a second.
I don't know why. I need to know now.
Non-altruism.
Non-altruism. You can't just add non to the word.
You can.
You can. This is why you're in Btec.
Selfishness.
Okay.
Oh, right. Okay.
Okay, so we were on the right avenue of path with our definitions.
I think you were miles off.
What did you even say?
I said it was like you do something because you want it to be good, but you're not doing it for the idea of like, hey, look, everyone, I've been good. It's altruistic. It's just like the idea that you're being good.
Well, there's no altruistic act because everyone gets a little bit of a boost.
Do you really believe that? Yeah, I got a mate, Milo McKay, will probably come on this at some point.
Yeah.
And talk to us about DMT.
Yeah.
He believes that. He's like, there's no such thing as true altruism, which I think is ridiculous for performers to say. I think there are people out there who are truly altruistic. It's just weird. Just because you're not doesn't mean other people are. It's a very small lens to see your life.
No, I mean, in terms of anybody who does a good thing, there's even in the smallest sense of like, I've just done a good thing right now. You don't have to tell anybody, but there is that sense of that.
Yeah, but that's still...
Surely that defeats altruism.
I wouldn't say it does, because I'd say what defeats altruism. I'll tell you like my fantasy. Yeah.
Okay.
Totally doing a good thing but getting all the credit for it. I'd love to stop a terrorist attack. Do you know what I mean? I'd love to think I'm one of those people. I'm not. I'd run screaming like one time in Thornton Heath, I saw a crackhead fight and I ran away. I'm not going near. I'm not going to stop ISIS anytime soon.
That active terror. Okay, but would you if you died?
No, that would ruin the part of it where I got like a parade.
Right. You can get a parade in death.
No, yeah, but I want to be there.
You want to be
I want to
part
see
of...
like the confetti going off. I want to see people like holding their kids up to get a glimpse of me going, look, there he is.
I could, if you die, in this sort of circumstance, I would take your ashes and we could use that as confetti in your memory.
I thought you meant like take it on a parade. Now you're going to take it around and be like, you see, look at the parade you've done.
Like on the bus when the teams won the Champions League and they're shaking the champagne. I'll do that with your ashes.
Couldn't it just be like the cup and you just hold it up and everyone cheers? You don't have to throw it over a crowd of people.
I think that just adds to the effects. So then, like, so you don't think you could do? Have you ever done a truly altruistic act?
Me personally, I probably have. There's you. It's tricky, isn't it? Because I guess I've given money to homeless people before, but I wouldn't go, I did that because... I remember one time, do you remember the Comedy Calf competition on Wednesday night?
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was like 16, I won that open mic competition, yeah. I was in Shore. I remember walking up past train station, I was so ecstatic.
You were the young gunner in comedy.
I was a young gunner in comedy. Man? Yeah, here we are.
Here we are, man.
Now on a podcast where somebody's saying they'd happily throw my ashes into crowds of people. And... I walked past Shoreditch Station.
Yeah.
I'd just been into a shop and bought like a pack of chocolate buttons because at that point in my life I hadn't really discovered alcohol. And
that's a lie, but okay.
I wasn't like a big drinker back then or anything. I'm not that I am now, but like, you know, my terms of celebrations were a little bit different.
Okay.
And I walked past this homeless guy. I knew I had £3 on me. And he was like, got any change? And I gave it to him because I was in such a good mood that I was like, yeah, sure, man. Like, I'm in a good mood. This is a good mood that I'm in. I want to share a bit of that. Now, that's not necessarily I don't
think it is at all.
No. But that's what I'm saying. I've done something because I've wanted to be nice to somebody because I was in a good mood.
You were in a euphoric mood.
Yeah.
So you're saying if you had then bombed, yeah, fuck you, man.
He wouldn't have got any money. I don't think I'd have said that to him. Right. I don't think I'd been like, give me that dog.
Yeah.
But I'd have, you know, I'd have probably not even registered. I'd have been so in my own world of like that I've bombed that I probably wouldn't have done a good thing.
Okay, that is interesting.
Maybe that's why people don't like. That's why sometimes people probably don't give stuff to or do altruistic things because they're so like got their own issues going on. They've so got their own things. So it's maybe only when you're like, maybe if you are a happy person in a state of happiness, you then realize making other people happy is what happiness kind of is.
Because I would have thought doing the good thing, that brings along that feeling of happiness rather than you need to be already in a place of happiness. Because I like to think if I was in a place of sadness and I'd done a good thing, that could kind of boost my own. I mean, it doesn't. I don't, and it doesn't. But I'm saying
surely then that can't be a truly altruistic act.
This is it.
If you're feeling happy from it, then you're doing it to service yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is a good thing. That's doing a good thing. That's not even a bad reason, though. That's not a bad reason to do a good thing.
No, I think, but that's the question, is it? Is doing a good thing for a selfish or bad reason. For example, yeah. So you know, like World War II.
Okay.
When they cracked the Enigma code.
What did you say that again?
When they cracked. No. We cracked that other code long.
I say we're still going for it. Personally. I say we're still in the midst of it. Couple more centuries, maybe.
And they found out Coventry was going to be bombed.
Okay.
But they were like, if we do a mass evacuation of Coventry, the Germans are going to know we've cracked the code.
Okay.
So we've got to let thousands of people die to potentially save millions of lives.
And that's doing a good thing.
And that's doing a bad, I guess you're doing a bad thing, but for a good reason.
You're saving more people.
You're logically, it's the tram, it's the thingy, innit? This is why it's called Btec Philosophy, people.
Would have been good if you had studied some examples before the podcast. I think it's the tram. Wait, no, your stupidity was infecting me. No, but I understand. You got a train and it's coming at 2 people, and you got 2 people on this side.
No.
3 people on that side.
It's like there's 5 people here. There's 1 person here.
5 people there, 1 person there.
Yeah, and if it hits the 5 people, it's going to hit the 5 people.
Yeah.
But if you pull the lever, it hits 1 person, but you've killed them. But if you don't touch the lever, it's going to kill 5 people.
Why are 6 people on the train track? That's the question we have to be asking.
Well, because it's.
I'd rather kill 5 stupid people for being on the train track together.
But they've been tied down. And you're
they've
walking
been
along
tied
and
down?
you found this.
You've just added that element.
Well, they're not just stood there out of their own free will.
How do you know that?
Because in the thing, they're tied down. There's like a little illustration and they're tied down. They're not just
There's an illustration
Otherwise,
now.
you could go, otherwise the conundrum would be, would you go, there's a train coming, get off the track, and that would just be the conundrum, and nobody would talk, everyone would have gone, whoever made that, they'd have gone, Steve, that's a really shit conundrum or a philosophical example of something.
Okay.
Go think of something else.
There's 6 people tied down.
On a train track.
Okay. 1 person's tied down this side.
Yeah.
5 people are tied down the other side.
Yeah.
Why have they been tied so regularly? Why can't you just have 6 people tied on one side of the track? Or why was he not evenly spreading it out? 3 people tied on one side, 3 people tied on the other side.
Because then the example would be, right, of your things, would you pull the lever so it hits no one? In which case, if you don't, you're an arsehole. Or there's 3 people on each side, doesn't matter if you pull the lever, 3 people are going to die. And everyone would go, what? Everyone goes, mate, next time you come to the pub, don't have an edible beforehand. Like, that's what would happen.
That's a good point. But you're saying the person who tied them down was thinking all of this when he tied them down?
I don't know what the intentions of the person. Maybe they're like the Riddler from Batman.
Okay.
Or the Joker even was probably a better example.
Leave with that. Okay, yeah.
Right. So that happened with Coventry.
Okay.
Thank God you weren't in that board meeting. Why don't we just let them both get bombed?
So Coventry was tied down.
Coventry was tied. Yeah. So essentially it was thousands of people will die tonight and we could save them.
Okay.
But in doing that, we risk prolonging the war and a lot more people will die.
So what happened to Coventry?
I got fucked up still.
Really?
Yeah. Have you ever been there? We've been there together.
I've been there.
Yeah?
They got like Hiroshima'd.
I wouldn't say they got Hiroshima. I mean, they try their best to make it look like it, but...
Damn, I didn't know that. That's very interesting. But then you look at that and then arguably they did the right thing.
Yeah, that's the point of it.
Oh, I get this dilemma now. It makes sense.
So if the train track's coming, would you pull it for it to hit one
Well,
person?
it depends on the average age of people in Coventry. The same as it would be on the train track, I guess.
So what do you mean? No, it wouldn't. There's one person and there's 5 people.
If I'm on the train, right, and you've given me like the life bios of all of these people, and I could just have a quick skim.
So you skim through that.
Yeah. I'm on the train skimming.
And then you're just going to go, why did that just suddenly get bumpy? Because you're reading there. Yeah, there's not enough time. You can't start playing 20 questions with all the people tied down.
What if I just jump out the train and I don't have to make a decision?
Well, you're not. That's letting the 5 people die. That's the argument that you haven't made the decision, so you never killed them.
And that's arguably the same as ignoring a homeless person. Boom. Let's sit on that for a second right there. Every time you ignore a homeless person on the train so you can listen to your I don't know what you're listening to in your
Hopefully
Paramore. I don't know what.
I'm amazed that you even knew that. Sorry, did you have an emo phase at your school when your mum sent you to the butchers? Would you go there listening to Misery Business?
You listen to Misery Biscuits. Is that-
Misery Business. That's what it's called, isn't it? Parable? Yeah.
Misery Biscuits. I prefer that name. But it's okay. So you're listening to your Paramore and you ignore a homeless person. That's the same as letting 5 people die, surely.
No, it's not the same as. I guess on the scale of morality, you could be like it's
Because you
it's
chose to do nothing.
No, but on your one, you're not letting the 5 people die. On your one, you're taking yourself out of the decision.
Right.
Yeah. So you're not responsible for the 5 deaths. That's why you've let the 5 people die. If you were to be responsible for the deaths, you change to one person and go, I'm only responsible for 1 death.
What if I go left, right, left?
Then you're even more responsible. You've come back round. You've gone. One's not enough. You've suddenly got on the back of the train and gone in the other direction to get the other ones. And then you're going to hit another oncoming train. You're now responsible for about 50 deaths.
Because I made a decision. And that's what my history book would say at my parade.
You're not going to get a parade. You don't get a parade for being the terrorist. Do you remember that? Oh, the London Bridge attacks. Let's remember all the brave people who gave their lives and have a memorial. Now, for the account of balance, we're also going to have one for the terrorists because, you know, they were people too.
Okay, yeah. No, I see what you're saying. Yeah, okay. I don't know where I go from here on this debate.
Yeah,
I've confused myself.
It was about homeless people, which was
right. It was about that act of, you know, whether or not. Now I'm still thinking what I did in the train. I'm not gonna lie. I think you got to take out the 5 though,
because then you're not responsible for the decision.
Right.
But then you've let 5 people die. You could have chose 1 person to die. It's like a Schrodinger's cat thing. It's like you're not. Right. You know, I used to think Schrodinger's cat was a thing they actually did.
I just know it from the Big Bang Theory.
That's where I first heard it as well. And then I actually thought that so anyone who I mean everyone will know, but basically there's a cat and in the box there's going to be poison released, but you don't know when it's going to be released, and so the cat can either be considered alive or dead. Mm-hmm. I actually thought they did that.
Oh really?
I thought he did a talk and was like, "There's a cat in that box," and then when I told people that, they were like, "No, that'd be psycho. It's just like a theory."
These people coming up with these fucked up theories, they're the ones to blame here.
Well, they have to be semi-fucked up. It can't be. The trolley conundrum doesn't work if it's just like the trolley's hurtling towards 5 branches.
What loser is in their bedroom just thinking up these? If I found that in like a kid's room, these manifestos of potential death, it's fucked up, man.
Well,
they're just writing fan fiction on cats being poisoned and 6 people who have been irregularly tied up on train tracks.
Well, yeah, but that's how the theory works, isn't it? There's got to be some level of jeopardy. It's got to appeal to your human, like, oh my God, life is about to be lost. You know, it can't just be like, oh, it's about to run over someone's jacket. You just buy a new jacket.
It's a Balenciaga jacket, though.
If it's a Balenciaga jacket, then
that's stakes.
That'd actually be something Balenciaga would have. They'll sell a jacket that's been run over by a train and then get some idiots to pay like $2,500 for it.
I'd buy that. I'd save that over a cat.
You'd what? You'd save?
I'd save a Balenciaga jacket over 5 people I didn't know.
Oh, I'd just straight onto Kurt Zuma then. Right. Okay.
Okay. Quick thoughts.
Quick thoughts on, because you have some interesting takes on this.
It's an old topic already. Nobody really cares about those cats.
I think you discount how much white people love cats.
They love dogs. If it was dogs, then his career's over.
If it was a dog, yeah. Because Michael Vick, innit? Like,
yeah.
You remember, in the NFL, like he started having dog fights.
He drowned dogs in buckets. He lost the fight. This is very drastic. Just do better. You know? Because the dog don't even understand the stakes, really. Like, you just point to the bucket.
Like, I lost $5,000 because I have no concept of money. Like, I don't know.
I mean, there's smelly elements of dog fighting that are distasteful. But, the lack of explaining to dogs the stakes at hand if they lose the fight.
They should have to sign a contract beforehand so they can.
If they got a dog whisperer in,
a dog, Milan's there before a dog fight.
listen,
listen.
you need to win this.
He's in his overdraft. he's got kids to fit. This has to come. You have to come in. Like a lot is going on here.
Imagine as a human, you lose a fight and then you get drowned in a bucket afterwards by the person who was backing you to win that fight.
That would make the UFC way more interesting. It's already very interesting. But then if they're like, well, he was in contention for a title fight, but we have just killed him. Also, we're really running out of fighters. Nobody wants to sign with our organisation. They're all going to Bellator.
The stakes are too high. No, listen, I feel like he did a bad thing because preferably you should not be kicking cats. If you had the option of having a cat and not kicking it, I think you should choose not because it's like the trolley dilemma.
It's not at all. Don't even compare the two. I'm going to stop this in its tracks right here.
You have two cats on a track, and you can kick one, and you can not kick one, and it's a tough decision to make because on one
you could just not kick out of a cat. You could just that's what you're.
No, because one you have to walk. You have to walk around the cat.
When you walk past cats, you don't go, oh no, the cat's in my way, I better kick it. You just go, shoo, or
right. But let's say for the sake of the dilemma, you have to kick a cat to get past, and then you have to not kick a cat to get past.
All right, first of all,
have a split five cats.
This dilemma already exists in a manner that works. Stop trying to reinvent the dilemma.
You have to kick 5 cats, or kick 1 cat.
Well, I'd kick the one cat.
Or you could kick 5 cats in one in combo.
All right, I'll go for that because that's way more cooler.
That's fine. No, I think he done a bad thing, and yeah, he should be punished, and he's been punished a lot.
I think his punish is sufficient. I think the cat got taken away. I think anyone who's like he should lose his job, I'm like he shouldn't lose his job.
But then if you worked at Tesco, you'd lose your job for that. If it went
but that's the thing, man. That people have to accept is like. So,
some people can kick cats.
Some people like can do stuff that like I know it's not fair, but if you are good enough to be a professional footballer for a club pushing for Champions League,
okay,
and you stack shelves, the guy who is the push for Champions League is allowed to do slightly more in society. Then that's how
you know only one is a key worker.
Yeah, for sure. But it's kind of the way capitalism is set up, isn't it?
Key workers should be allowed to kick cats.
Nobody should be allowed to kick cats.
In an ideal world, none of us want to kick a cat.
So your problem with this is that someone in Tesco can't kick cats, but Kurt Zuma can.
This is a problem with the 1%. I think, like you said, it's a capitalism. We need to get Bernie Sanders and Jeremy Corbyn on this in terms of why is there a disparity in who's allowed to do certain things and who's not allowed to do certain things.
So never mind Prince Andrew being a paedophile.
Allegedly.
Sorry, allegedly.
Whoa.
Allegedly.
We don't have money for this, for the Prince Andrew lawsuit.
We barely scraped by getting this studio this week. We can't have the royal family suing us.
Goodness gracious.
Like we can't. How the pod first episode go, lads? We're about to be beheaded in the Tower of London.
You saw what they did to Meghan. Drive us out the country. Have to live at Tyler Perry's house. Sounds great.
But do you think with the Kurt Zuma thing, should I tell you something that annoyed me about it?
What's that?
How it came a race thing.
Yeah, but like it is a kind of a race thing.
It came like people going, oh yeah, well, I see white people are angry about a cat being kicked, but you weren't this angry about like George Floyd, and you're like, yeah, we were. We marched in the streets. We all put black scares on Instagram. We could have done more. Yeah, but it turns out thousands of years of European imperialism around the world is a little bit harder to solve than 2 weeks in lockdown.
I'll tell you what, it's getting harder to make white people feel guilty than it used to be. That would have worked 10 years ago.
That would have worked, but you
guys are getting more savvy.
When people were like, I see, it's all about cat lives. You're like, no, nobody's going cat lives matter. We join, everyone will go, yeah. Racism is awful. But do you know what else is bad? putting a cat on Snapchat,
Yeah.
cat snap, Snapchat,
It's the worst element. You put it on Snapchat.
and then filming it, like you're allowed to go.
There's a nice kitchen, though, isn't it?
It is a good kitchen. I think that's also what annoys people as well. Is people
A black man in a nice kitchen
don't blame-
kicking a cat.
Hey, I'm envious of anyone, regardless of their race, with a better kitchen than me.
Yeah.
And then if they've got room to kick a cat, if you saw like someone in like a little awful kitchen kicking a cat, you'd go, I understand why you're kicking that cat. You're angry with your life.
Capitalism.
Capitalism. Catapitalism.
Stop making puns.
No. I see how much they bother you.
Stop doing it.
No.
It don't even work.
Well, you didn't even like the first one, so I thought I'd go for
ignored
another
the
one.
first one. I ignored that first one, and then another one came up.
So if you saw someone in like a worse off kitchen than you, I guess you'd go, that's somebody, I don't agree with it. I see why they're kicking that cat. They're angry at their life. I hope that they can one day find something within them that doesn't make them as angry.
You reckon that would be the public?
And that wouldn't be the public view, but that would be my view that I'd have. But when I see someone with like a 16-seater dining table in their kitchen kicking a cat, like, there's no need for you to be
The
kicking
way that
cats.
cat slid across those granite tiles, you know,
It was.
They weren't bought in the shop. They were custom made tiles.
Oh, he proper sweet chin music, that cat. Like it was like, all right, man, spray it with a bit of water if you must, but don't. And also like throwing slippers out and having the kid there watching,
Yeah.
and putting it on Snapchat,
Yeah.
is gonna, and all the laugh
That
emoji.
is a private story.
If you, I don't know why you'd put in any story.
Yeah, it's true.
Maybe I wouldn't even like send that to a lad's WhatsApp group I was in. Like, oh, here's me beating on my cat. People would be
White
disgusted.
people, you guys, you chase foxes, the posh ones, not you.
Don't agree with that.
And you guys, you hit your horses to make them run faster.
Okay, but anyone I've spoke to about
And you shoot at pigeons made of clay, or are they real? I don't know.
clay pigeon shooting, the clues in the name.
So they're not real pigeons.
No, well, how would they fire real pigeons in the air?
I thought they dipped them in clay to slow them down and to make them easier to shoot.
Right, so they've removed. That's kind of what they do, except they've removed the middleman of having to get a pigeon and then dip it in clay for no reason whatsoever. They've just gone, we'll just make a clay one.
So either they dip the pigeon in clay, let it go, and then shoot it, or they dip the real dead pigeon.
How would the pigeon fly if it's in clay?
It's lightly dipped in clay
So why would they need the clay at all?
because pigeons are fast.
Right, but the whole element of shooting a pigeon would be you're good enough to shoot a fast pigeon.
Yeah. I was wrong. Okay, I was wrong. They don't do that. You don't have to. You can explain it in a nice way. You don't have to be a dick about it.
No, I think I do. No. You're
So
allowed.
wait, they mold a pigeon.
Yeah, Mike,
out of clay.
They send people into space. They
So
can
then
make clay pigeons.
Why not any shape of animal?
I think because it used to probably be pigeons, and then to keep part of the tradition of it alive. I'm just speculating.
How do
here,
they
I don't
make
know.
them fly?
Well, they have like a slingshot thing. They put it in and they go pull, and it goes. Whoosh. Sometimes they do it with discs, like plates, and they have these like plate discs, and they go pull and they shoot them.
Okay.
So, but the fox hunting thing, most people are against fights. So when people are going, oh right, but like white people are allowed to fox hunt, and you're like, no. There's literally fights every Boxing Day in like small rural villages about this. It causes huge problems in the community. Just none of us live in the countryside, so we don't talk to people about it.
Yeah.
Like, for me personally and you. And then anyone I've met from the countryside who's like raised horses and stuff, and I'm like, whipping them's bad, and they literally go, no, it isn't. We don't whip them. We hit them with a little stick thing. It lets the horse know they're a massive animal. They're able to. They're fine with it.
They've had the therapy. You've checked with the horses.
Well, I just took it on face value, but they said it in such a way where they were
Who
like,
was your posh friend that sided you like that?
Tom Horton.
Did he really? Is he?
Yeah.
Was he a horse?
Yeah, Tom. Like,
And he does the clay and the
yeah, he's
and the
like
fox?
he's shot pheasants before.
Not real.
No, real pheasants. Like he's gone and fucking.
Did they fly?
I don't think they really fly. They just sort of hop and like.
No need for clay because they're slow enough already.
Yeah. So no, maybe they do fly. I think he shot it he shot it in the air and it fell in the river and it drowned. This isn't me. This is like this for white people is insane to me as well.
Yeah.
Like
That's a different level of white.
this is a level of white that I go. All
But
right,
it's not that far removed from kicking a cat.
I think
Remember, cats used to be witches.
right.
It's not that far removed. I believe you're a South London resident.
Yeah,
You know about Sneakbo the rapper.
Do you know about Sneakbo the rapper?
He's a grime artist who famously evaded police, or was it the ops?
No, the ops were after it.
The ops are after him, and he turned himself into a cat
In McDonald's in Lewisham or something.
to evade the police. And
It never happened.
no, South London is famous for its witchcraftery.
But like this in like 2014, 2012.
Earlier than that.
Like this was like a rumor that people in class would talk about seriously. Like, Sneakbo's a cat.
No, he turned himself into a cat.
Well, yeah,
but
that
then
means he is a
came back
cat. He did.
to human.
Yeah, because they chased him into a McDonald's toilet.
Cats famously get murdered in South London more than any, because it's the witchcraft capital of London.
I remember the South London cat killer.
Yeah.
Because there's some like a mad African church down in South Norwood, where they all go.
Just a church.
Just a church. No, but it's like one of those like witchcrafty ones.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said African. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
How come you're allowed to slag off? You just spent 5 minutes moaning about what I'm not even part of.
History. That's why.
And they go down there and they do like they stand outside like Norwood Leisure Centre.
Okay.
And it was like they do like weird cult stuff. But they're like, and people are like, oh yeah, they use like juju and things like that.
And Kurt Zuma could have been testing the cat for juju.
Right, because we didn't see what that cat had done.
We don't know what that cat had done before. It could have levitated across him in the night.
But that's no reason. If you've got a levitating cat, you'd go, wow, that's amazing. You wouldn't then beat the shit out of it.
I think you would try and christen the cat religiously by kicking it and
you can't
slapping the
cats.
devil.
Animals have no souls.
Who says this?
Catholic Church, because generally an Irishman, an Irish priest,
Evangelical.
Here, just to play safe, one of those crazy Irish churches.
Okay, no,
bring it
to
back.
say the
Like just to do it to everyone.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, crazy Church of England.
Yeah.
all of them there, all crazy in my opinion. I'm getting ready to do my apology. No, but go to every bit of the podcast. I call all churches crazy. Irish priest got caught having sex with a duck. And then so the Catholic
Clay or real
duck.
real duck.
Clay duck would have been fine. Weird, but fine. Sex with a duck, and then the Catholic Church basically had to get involved, and they came out and said we're not going to say, because animals don't have a soul. So animals don't have souls. Whatever it is that humans have.
All you can deduce from that really is that ducks don't have souls. You'd have to do an extensive sexual inventory.
I actually think they should have just gone ducks don't have, so that would have made a lot more sense.
Than all animals. Some animals have souls.
What animals have souls?
Devil cats. Devil cats have souls. And those pigeons, those poor pigeons you're dipping in clay to shoot a pigeon like a real man. Shoot a clayless pigeon like a real man, posh people.
So your problem with posh people is they don't shoot real pigeons.
You don't shoot. This is why Prince Andrew grew up the way he did. Because you shooting fucking clay pigeons like a pussy. Be a real man.
Took it out with a pigeon one-on-one like a man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all we've got time for.
I think so. I think we got into some topics there. And I feel like there was some philosophy applied, for sure.
What I've realised is you don't understand philosophical conundrums.
No, I feel like they've written them wrong.
Right, because they didn't write them about cats.
I just feel like as long as the numbers are equal in your philosophical conundrum, that would put me in the mindset of a serial killer who would tie people up. Like your serial killers are smart people, they're logical people. So then why would you tie up people so illogically?
I will be at Thank you for listening to the podcast.
Btec Philosophers.
Btec Philosophers. We're going to be doing a few more of these.
Oh, for sure.
For sure. This has been fun.
I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we'll be back soon, guys.
Yeah. Do you want to promote your gig that you're selling?
Oh my goodness. March 1st at the Street Easy. We're having a gig. I'm MC and Elliot's on. Wonderful comedian Kate Checker, Junior Booker are on. It's going to be a really fun night. Good vibes, good food. March 1st. You can find a ticket link on my Instagram, Michael Odewale Comedy.
And you can find all my shows on my Instagram at Elliot Still and on Twitter at ElliotStill.com. This has been Btec Philosophy. Thank you for joining us for the first one.
Thank you.
Oh, I've said Btec Philosophy.
You said Btec Philosophy, man.